The first tremor was a ghost, a whisper against the nightstand wood. The second, a nudge. The third, a goddamn jackhammer dragging me awake. Groggy, I groped for my phone, fingers bumping something cool, slick. Not mine. Sarah's phone. Wrong. Sarah never let that thing out of her sight. Not even to pee. Used to tease her about the constant scrolling, the need to be plugged in. Now it felt off. My own phone buzzed, urgent, a knot tightening in my gut. Unlocked the screen. 3 texts, unknown number. Check her phone. She's lying. Not alone right now. Cold dread seeped into my bones. My hand slid across the bed. Empty. Sheets still warm. Stomach clenched. The apartment was silent. Not the good kind. The city hush at 3 a.m. kind. This was waiting silence. Then, a sound. Faint. Almost nothing. Not the building settling. Not the fridge hum. Softer. Intentional. A voice. Hushed. A whisper. A laugh. Sarah's laugh. My blood turned to ice. Pulse hammered against my ribs. Sleep vanished. Body locked tight. Instincts screaming. I grabbed my phone, shoved back the covers. Every move slow, deliberate. Didn't know what I'd find, what to expect, but I had to see. Crept to the bedroom door. Hallway. Stairs. Each step measured, silent. Halfway down, froze. Living room was dim. Just the faint glow of a phone screen. Enough to see them. 2 figures. Sarah and a guy. Too close. Suffocation wrapped around me, walls closing in. Air thick, stifling. Vision tunneled. Sarah leaned in, face near his, hands touching. Intimate. Stolen. In my apartment. Fire ripped through my veins, breath sharp, ragged. But I didn't move. Not yet. Fingers clenched on the banister, body coiled. Then, front door creaked open. Small gasp. Sharp inhale. Lily. Standing in the doorway, backpack slung over one shoulder. Wide eyes darted between me, Sarah, the guy on the couch. Too young to get it all, but she got enough. Sarah lurched up, face white. The guy, Mark, the name slammed into me, turned, stunned, caught. Everything collapsed in a single breath. Sarah moved fast, almost knocking over the coffee table, scrambling to stand. Mark hesitated, frozen for a beat, then scrambled up, shoving his phone in his pocket, coward's exit. Muttered something, excuse, apology, but I wasn't listening. Wasn't looking at him, looking at Lily. Doorway. Confusion flickered across her small face, twisting into something worse. Fear. Daddy? Sarah's head snapped to Lily. Realization crashed down. Betrayal reflected in her wide, panicked eyes. Opened her mouth to speak, explain. Nothing came out. Mark bolted, slipped past Lily, out the door. Rat. Didn't matter. Not anymore. Sarah did. I stepped forward. Explain. Word low. Dangerous. Quiet before the storm. Sarah's mouth opened, desperation flashing, scrambling for words, anything to rewind this, make it disappear. Too late. truth stood naked in the room. "It's not," she started. "Don't." Hands clenched at my sides, voice steel. "Don't." Lily flinched. Tiny movement, barely there. But I saw it. Saw her little hands tremble. That shattered me. My daughter, innocent, trusting, shouldn't see this. Shouldn't see her mother like this. Sarah turned to Lily, frantic, grasping for something to hold on to. Salvage. Gone. Lily had seen everything. Sarah turned back to me, fear flickering behind her eyes. Then, like only Sarah could, she went on attack. "You're making this into something it's not," she shot back, arms crossed, defensive, like she was wronged. "You're completely misunderstanding." Sharp, humorless chuckle escaped me. "Oh, am I? Enlighten me, Sarah. Bible study? Financial planning session?" Eyes narrowed. "Lower your voice. Lily doesn't need to hear this." Hear this? Like I was making a scene. Muffled, wounded sob from Lily cut through the air. Focus shifted. Really saw her then. Tiny fingers clinging to backpack strap, tremble in lower lip, silent plea in tear-filled eyes. Sarah's eyes begging for it to be over. Sarah had already taken enough from me. But this was beyond redemption. Taking Lily, too. Forced a slow breath, steadying voice. "Lily, sweetheart," I said, crouching to meet her gaze. "Go upstairs for a bit, okay? I'll come talk to you soon." Hesitated, wary glance at her mother. Sarah, ever the performer, offered a practiced, reassuring smile, like she could smooth it all over. Like she wasn't standing in wreckage of everything we'd built. "It's all right, honey," she coaxed. "Daddy's just upset." Swallowed fury clawing up my throat. Lily gave a reluctant nod, turned, hurried upstairs. Door clicked shut. I rounded on Sarah, voice dangerously calm now. "Tell me the truth, or so help me, you will regret every second of this." Sarah didn't shrink back, didn't even blink. Instead, audacity to smirk. Slow, deliberate curve of her lips. Then, words that would shatter everything. "Since you're so curious," she said smoothly, "I was actually thinking about suggesting an open marriage." Stared, waiting for punchline. Awkward laugh. Hasty retreat. Nothing. Just stood there, arms folded, chin lifted, like I was irrational one. Open marriage. Words felt foreign, clumsy in my mouth. She rolled her eyes. "Don't act so surprised." Took a step closer, voice barely whisper. "You brought another man into our home. Our daughter saw you. And instead of apologizing, you're pitching me an open marriage?" Sarah exhaled, irritated sigh, like I was difficult. "For God's sake, just relax. You're blowing this way out of proportion." Something inside me fractured. "You really think this is nothing?" Voice shook now. "You think Lily catching you with someone else is nothing? You think lying to me, betraying our vows, tearing apart our family is nothing?" Sarah threw up her hands, exasperated. "God, you're so dramatic. I was going to talk to you about it eventually, but you're so uptight. I knew you'd freak out like this." Hollow ringing filled my ears. Walls of our apartment felt warped, distorted, like I'd stepped into twisted alternate reality where my wife stood before me, caught in undeniable betrayal, yet convinced I was problem. "How long?" Question barely made it past my lips. "How long has this been happening?" Fraction of a second, she hesitated. Fraction was all I needed. Dry, broken laugh escaped me. "So, it's true," I murmured. You've been sleeping with him. How long has it been?" Sarah groaned, exasperated, like confrontation was tedious inconvenience. "A few months?" A few months. Every so-called girls' night. Every errand that took suspiciously long. Every time she flipped her phone face down on table. All made sense now. Sharp, breathless laugh left me. Unbelievable. Sarah shrugged. Shrugged like this was minor spat, something to brush aside. "It's not as big a deal as you're making it out to be," she said. "It's just variety, that's all. I love you, but I don't want to be stuck in same monotonous cycle forever. I actually thought this could be good for us." Said it like she was offering me gift, dragged hand through hair, trying to hold it together. "Let me guess," I said, voice dripping bitterness. "You've already discussed this with Mark?" Her silence told me everything. "Of course," I muttered. "So you made your decision. Had your fun. Now expect me to just accept it?" That smirk again. Infuriating, self-assured glint in her eyes, like she'd already won. "You should give it some serious thought," she murmured, tone smooth, almost persuasive. "Could be good for us." Drew in slow breath through nose, forcing control over storm inside. Every instinct urged me to lash out, break something, shatter illusion of calm she'd crafted. Then, thought took shape. Dark, clever, ruthless. Sarah wanted open marriage? Fine. Let's have open marriage. And I already knew exactly where to begin. Sarah leaned back, arms crossed, preparing for eruption. Anticipated fury, heartbreak, maybe even desperate attempt to change her mind. Believed she'd backed me into corner, left me no choice but comply or crumble. Thought she understood me. Wrong. I let out measured breath, met her gaze steadily, let slow smile unfurl across my face. "You know what?" I said, voice even, deliberate. "You're absolutely right." Flicker of doubt crossed her features. Just instant, before she masked it. "Wait, what?" I nodded, letting weight of words settle between us. I said, "You're right." Hesitation flickered in her eyes before quickly covered it with triumphant smirk. "I knew you'd come around," she said, confidence creeping back. Oh, Sarah. Thought she'd won. No idea what was coming. By next morning, plan in motion. Knew exactly where to start. If Sarah wanted to turn our marriage into joke, I'd make sure punchline landed squarely on her. Pulled out phone, scrolled contacts, found name I needed. Jessica, Mark's wife. Only ever exchanged polite pleasantries at office functions, interactions brief, cordial, reserved, graceful. Last person anyone would suspect of being caught up in something like this. Yet here we were, pressed call, picked up on second ring. "Hello?" "Hey, Jessica," I said evenly. "It's John, Sarah's husband." Pause. Then, careful curiosity. "Oh, hi, John." She already knew. Maybe not everything, but enough to sense something wrong. Got straight to point. "We need to talk about Mark and Sarah." Silence stretched between us before she let out slow, unsteady breath. "What did they do?" 10 minutes later, sat across from each other in quiet coffee shop. Two strangers, bound by same betrayal. I laid it all out. Sarah's late nights, cryptic messages, self-satisfied smirk she wore when she confessed. Jessica listened, grip tightening around coffee cup, knuckles white. When I finished, she exhaled shakily, eyes glistening. "I knew something was off," she whispered. "He's been distant, different. I just didn't want to believe it." I nodded, Same. She looked up then, something shifting in her expression, something sharp, almost dangerous. So, what's your next move? Leaned back, choosing words carefully. Sarah thinks she's calling shots, I said. Thinks she's dictating rules. Jessica tilted head. And her mistake? I smirked. She underestimated me. Slow, knowing smile curled across Jessica's lips. Then let's make them regret it. Sarah arrived home late that night, blissfully unaware foundations beneath her carefully constructed world had already begun to crack. Tossed purse onto counter with same casual air as always, stretched like exhausted from day, then turned to me, smug, expectant look. You've been thinking about it, haven't you? She purred, stepping closer. About us. About how exciting this could be. Swallowed down laugh, forcing expression into something more neutral. Instead, met her with easy, unreadable smile. Yeah, I said smoothly. I've been thinking about it. A lot. Sarah's grin widened. Expression of someone reveling in supposed victory. Thought she had me exactly where she wanted me. Thought she'd won. No idea. Let her talk that night. Let her weave web of hollow justifications. Freedom, adventure, self-discovery. Nodded at right moments, feigned interest, played role of man who'd surrendered. Next night, I invited Jessica over. Sarah sprawled on couch, eyes glued to phone, likely texting Mark. Barely looked up when I opened door until she saw who was standing there. Jessica stepped inside, face unreadable, posture composed. Carried herself with effortless poise, betraying nothing of storm she must have felt. Had to admire her. Flawless performance. Sarah blinked, confusion flickering across face before expression darkened. What is she doing here? I shut door behind Jessica, turned to my wife, smiled. You wanted an open marriage, so figured why not start with Mark's wife? Sarah tensed, instant. Jessica barely contained smirk. Sarah's mouth opened, as if to speak, but quickly snapped shut, thoughts scrambling to catch up. Excuse me? You what? Voice wavered. I leaned against wall, arms crossed. What? You get to sleep with Mark, but I'm not allowed to spend time with his wife? Deep red flush spread across Sarah's face. That is absolutely not the same thing. Jessica finally spoke, tone smooth, effortless. Why not? Cocked head slightly, pretending to be curious. Since we're all being so honest now. Sarah's eyes darted toward Jessica, narrowing in suspicion. You knew? Jessica remained unreadable. I do now. Silence dropped between us, thick, stifling. Sarah's gaze shifted between me and Jessica, breathing shallow, nostrils flaring. Jaw tightened. Then, unexpectedly, she laughed. But not real laugh. Sharp, cold, laced with bitterness. You really think this bothers me? She scoffed, folding arms. Go ahead. If you think you can handle an open marriage, be my guest. Let's see how much you actually enjoy it. Thought she was baiting me, daring me to back down. What she didn't understand was she'd already lost. Sarah, standing at edge of cliff, didn't even know it. Believed I wouldn't follow through, lacked resolve to see this to end. For years, convinced herself she was one in control, one pulling strings. This time, miscalculated. Jessica and I settled comfortably on couch while Sarah paced living room, arms crossed, frustration evident in every tense movement. Tried to appear indifferent, like none of this mattered. but way her fingers gripped phone told different story. Waiting for Mark's response, wondering if he knew. He did. I'd made sure of that. Finally, Sarah stopped in front of us. "All right, John," she said, voice clipped, rigid. "What's plan here? You and Jessica play house while I do whatever I want? Is that it?" I shrugged. "You wanted an open marriage. I'm just making sure it's actually fair." Sarah let out short, humorless laugh. "You don't even want this." Jessica leaned in slightly, resting hand on my knee, as if she'd done it 100 times before. "And what makes you so sure of that, Sarah?" Sarah's jaw tightened. Hit nerve. Good. I leaned forward, resting elbows on knees. "See, Sarah, this is where you and I differ," I said evenly. "You wanted open marriage because you thought it meant keeping everything. Devoted husband at home while sneaking off with Mark like reckless teenager." Sarah rolled eyes. "Oh, spare me the speech." I ignored her. "But me? I'm actually embracing arrangement you asked for." Her expression darkened. "John." Jessica tilted head slightly, amusement flickering in her eyes. "You don't seem very happy, Sarah. Isn't this exactly what you wanted?" Sarah inhaled sharply, nostrils flaring. "You're pathetic," she spat. "You think bringing her into this is going to make me jealous? That I'll beg you to forget it all? You're delusional." I smiled. "Funny, considering only one losing here is you." Sarah hesitated, fracture forming in her composure. First time, doubt flickered in her eyes. Realization, slow, sinking understanding she'd played cards wrong. I pulled out phone, tapped few times, turned screen toward her. Face drained of color. Displayed for her to see were screenshots. Every late-night conversation with Mark. Every lie. Every smug deception. And worst of all, final message I'd sent before Mark could twist story in his favor. Me. "Hey Mark, just heads up, Sarah told me everything. Good luck explaining this to Jessica." Sarah lunged for my phone, but I was faster, slipping it into pocket as I stood. "You..." she sputtered, fury contorting her features. I cut her off smoothly. "This is what honesty looks like, Sarah. Maybe you should try it sometime." Desperate now, she turned to Jessica. "You seriously believe him? You're really going to trust this?" Jessica remained unshaken, standing beside me with confidence. "I don't need to trust him," she said simply. "I trust the proof." Sarah unraveling, clear, panic in her eyes, realization she'd pushed too far. Everything she'd manipulated now slipping through her fingers. She'd wanted open marriage. Now she was about to have open life. Because I wasn't just walking away. I was taking everything with me. Sarah stood frozen, mind racing for escape. But for first time in her life, not in control. Never been sharpest mind in any room, and tonight no different. Let silence stretch between us, thick, suffocating. Letting weight settle over her. Let her sit with it. Let her feel, with each agonizing second past, inevitability of her loss. Then, like all manipulators do when deceptions crumble, she tried to turn tables. "You just want to hurt me," she accused, voice trembling with artificial indignation. "That's what this is really about, isn't it? This isn't about you don't actually want an open marriage? You just want payback." I lifted eyebrow. Sarah's lips parted as if to continue, but no words came. She hadn't expected me to embrace her accusation so readily. "You're not wrong," I admitted, stepping closer. I don't love Jessica. Barely even know her. But that didn't stop you when it was Mark, did it? Flicker of something flashed across her face. Guilt? Maybe. She'd assumed she controlled Story, could twist it in her favor, not letting her. And revenge? I exhaled sharply, almost laughing. Damn right it's revenge. Because you didn't just betray me, Sarah. You made a joke out of me. You ridiculed me. And worst of all, you let our daughter walk in on your affair like it was nothing. Mention of Lily, Sarah's confidence wavered. Just moment. Good. She should feel sick. But recovered quickly, crossing arms, regaining composure. So, what now? Divorce? She asked, feigning indifference. I sighed, shaking head slowly. Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. I clicked tongue. You still don't get it, do you? I turned to Jessica. Has Mark responded yet? Cool and unshaken, Jessica glanced at phone. Small, knowing smile curved her lips. Oh, he responded. Sarah stiffened. I gestured for Jessica to read it aloud. Clearing throat, Jessica mimicked Mark's voice with unsettling precision. Sarah, what the hell did you do? Jessica knows everything. She's taking the kids to her mother's. She wants a divorce. Thanks for ruining my life. Sarah recoiled, as if struck, had to fight urge to smile. Jessica turned to her, expression unreadable. Looks like you lost both men tonight. For first time, real panic flashed across Sarah's face. Wasn't just about me anymore. Mark gone, too. Wasn't just rough night for her. Complete annihilation. I leaned in, lowering voice to whisper. You wanted an open marriage, Sarah. Congratulations. Now you're open to the fallout. Her hands balled into fists. You think this is funny? She hissed. I tilted head. No, Sarah. I think it's justice. Her breathing turned erratic, uneven. You? Front door burst open. Every head turned. Mark stood in doorway, radiating fury, entire frame taut with barely contained rage. This wasn't over, not even close. Mark stormed inside, face dark with anger. Shirt wrinkled, hair disheveled, like dragged himself out of hell. Good. Sarah spun to face him, relief flickering in eyes for half-second, until she registered his expression. No love in his gaze. No desire. Just unfiltered, seething hatred. You absolute fool! He ground out, voice shaking with barely restrained fury. Do you have any idea what you've done? Sarah shrank back. Mark, She took the kids, Sarah! His words cracked through room like whip. Jessica packed them up and left. She called my boss, Sarah! My boss! He told him everything. Do you even understand what that means for me? Sarah opened mouth, but no words came. I flicked glance at Jessica, met my eyes, gave smallest nod. Her doing. She hadn't just walked away, burned his world down on her way out. Brilliant. Mark dragged shaking hand through hair. Jesus Christ! My marriage is over. My family is gone. And for what? Bitter laugh escaped him. For a woman who can't even keep her damn lies straight. Sarah's eyes widened, new kind of fear creeping in. Wait, what are you... Mark turned to me, gaze sharp as blade. Did you know she was seeing someone else? Air thickened, charged with something new. Sarah went still. And just like that, night took even darker, more violent turn. I blinked, mind catching up. Come again? Mark let out hollow, humorless chuckle, shaking head. Oh, you didn't know? Well, isn't this a revelation? All this time I figured she was only betraying me in secret, slipping around behind your back. He let out sharp, humorless laugh. Turns out we were both being played. Jessica exhaled, sound tinged with something almost amused. Huh, I mused, turning gaze to Sarah with deliberate slowness. Is that so, Sarah? Sarah's breath hitched, voice barely above whisper. I don't know what he's talking about. Mark scoffed, sound dripping with contempt. Save it. Didn't even give her moment to scramble for excuse. Pulled out phone, tapped few times, turned screen toward me. Dim lighting of restaurant cast soft glow over image. Sarah leaning in, far too close to another man. Not Mark. Not me. Someone entirely different. Stomach churned, heavy weight pressing down on ribs, hands curled into fists at my sides. Who the hell is that? Mark's voice blade sharp, unforgiving. Her boss, Jessica supplied, slow whistle escaping lips. Climbing ladder in more ways than one, huh? Sarah's fingers twitched, composure unraveling. Walls closing in, nowhere left to run. John, don't... My voice quiet, but sliced through air like knife. Sarah's mouth snapped shut as I stepped forward, eyes locked onto hers. So, let me get this straight, I said, tone disturbingly calm. You weren't just with Mark. You were screwing your boss, too? Sarah swallowed hard, throat bobbing. It's not. Mark cut in, voice edged with barely contained fury. And you, he pointed finger at me, actually sat here feeling bad for her? Thinking she was just cheating on me? Sarah's expression twisted into something desperate. John, baby, don't... No. Word cracked through air like whip. You lost right to call me that. Her gaze flicked between me and Mark, and I saw a moment realization set in. She'd lost. No more manipulation. No more control. And I was going to make sure she lost everything. Her entire body trembled, eyes darting wildly, searching way out. But there was none. Backed herself into corner. And now I was going to watch her crumble. I turned to Mark, voice still eerily steady. Just so we're clear, Sarah's been seeing you for months? Mark let out heavy breath, nodding. Yeah. And while she was with you, she was also screwing her boss. Mark let out hollow laugh. Looks like it. Sarah finally snapped. You're both being ridiculous. Voice wavered, cracking under weight of unraveling lies. It wasn't even serious. It wasn't. I shut her down with single look. How long, Sarah? Hesitated, panic flaring in eyes. I stepped closer. How long, Sarah? Her lips parted, but no sound came. Mark's jaw clenched tight. Tell him, Sarah. Sarah inhaled sharply, breath uneven. A year. Everything inside me went still. Not few weeks, not handful of months. Entire year. Rage that settled inside me wasn't kind that burned hot and fast. Ice cold. Precise. Lethal. Kind of anger that made men dangerous. Jessica exhaled, amusement barely concealed. Damn. You really thought you'd get away with this, didn't you? Sarah's breathing turned erratic. I never meant for it to what, Sarah? I cut in, stepping so close I could see panic in her eyes. To come out? To blow up in your face? To finally have real consequences? Sarah clenched jaw, eyes glistening. I was going to tell you. I laughed, sound empty, devoid of humor. Oh, Were you, Sarah? Sarah turned to Mark, desperate. Tell them, Mark. It wasn't just me. You wanted this too. Mark let out bitter chuckle. Oh, so now you're trying to take me down with you? Shook head, expression unreadable. I've already lost everything tonight. My wife, my kids, my job. But you still think you can talk your way out of this? Sarah's panic deepened, words stumbling over themselves. I never wanted it to happen like this. I thought you'd understand. Cruel smirk tugged at my lips. Understand what exactly? That you didn't just betray me, you demolished everything we built. That you didn't just lie, you manipulated. That you threw away our marriage for few moments of selfish indulgence. Sarah's face contorted with frustration, defenses cracking apart. I deserved more than what you gave me. Silence that followed suffocating, unforgiving. Jessica let out slow whistle. Damn, there it was. No taking it back now. Sarah's fingers pressed against lips as though she could shove confession back down, erase words that had just shattered air between us. Far too late. I exhaled slowly, nodding as truth settled over me like lead weight. Well, Sarah, I said, voice calm, deliberate. I hope those extra men were worth it, because you just lost everything. Her face drained of color. What do you mean? She stuttered. I didn't hesitate, reaching into pocket. Pulled out phone, fingers gliding over screen with practiced precision. One message was all it took. Send the papers. Sarah's breath hitched, choked gasp slipping from lips. John, please, don't do this. Didn't acknowledge her panic. Instead, turned to Jessica. Shall we? Slow, satisfied smile curved on her lips. Absolutely. Mark scoffed, shaking head in disgust. I'm done. Watch her self-destruct on your own time. Sarah lunged toward me, fingers gripping arm, nails biting into skin as if she could hold on to what was already lost. We can fix this, she whispered, frantic. I yanked free from her grasp. There's nothing left to fix. And with that, turned and walked away, leaving her to drown in wreckage she'd created. Behind me, her voice cracked as she called my name. Sheer desperation laced in every syllable, twisting through night air. John, please don't do this. I didn't stop, didn't even glance back. Steps steady, unyielding, leading me straight to car where Jessica waited. Sarah stood motionless in doorway, our doorway, watching her life collapse piece by piece around her. Mark's tires shrieked against pavement as his car shot down driveway, likely heading toward nearest bar to drown out ruin Sarah dragged him into. He'd lost it all. Family, future, name. She'd made sure of that. And now she stood alone. Jessica let out slow breath beside me, shaking head. Well, she murmured. That was satisfying. Dry laugh escaped me, pulse still hammering. You think she'll ever recover? Jessica's smirk deepened. Not a chance. For brief moment, I turned back toward apartment. Sarah still there, arms wrapped around herself, as if she could somehow shield herself from consequences of her own betrayal. And just for second, only second, I thought about everything that led to this moment. 11 years. Laughter that left us breathless. Mornings spent tangled in sheets, whispering promises neither of us would keep. Illusion of forever. But that version of Sarah, woman I once believed in, gone. Maybe never been real at all. I opened car door, slipping into driver's seat. Sarah took trembling step forward, voice barely more than whisper. "John?" I rolled down window, meeting her gaze, really looking at her for last time. Then, in voice cold and certain, I spoke final words I'd ever say to my wife. "You wanted an open marriage." Humorless smile flickered across my lips. "Now you have nothing." And with that, drove away. Sarah didn't chase after me, didn't scream, just stood there, swallowed whole by ruins of her own choices. For first time in longer than I could remember, I felt free. Our story come to end. Life does not tolerate deception, and trust fragile thread, easily broken, impossible to restore to original state. Story we've witnessed serves as powerful reminder every action has consequences. Betrayal not just momentary lapse in judgment, it's destruction of trust, love, family, leaves behind emptiness, pain, regret. But truth always comes to light, and when it does, there's no turning back. Honesty, foundation of any relationship. If you fail to value what you have, you may one day find yourself standing alone in ruins of your own choices. Treasure those who care for you. Stay true to yourself and to those who love you, because betrayal always comes full circle, while love and trust only real treasures worth protecting. What do you think about this story? Share your opinion in the comments. Has this ever happened to you? May the Force be with you. See you soon, friends.